Mr. P here, once again with Mr. Dave.
Hey.
We are the Geeky Guys, and we just thought it's been a beat since we actually did anything. So because of lots of things happening this year, geeky-wise so far.
Yeah, it's been a busy one.
It's been a busy one. We thought we'd pop on and just say hello, have a quick catch-up with you all about what's been happening in the world, geeky and non-geeky, and give you a quick glimpse of what we're up to next.
Yes.
Now, first, we have to make an official apology.
Do we?
Well, we don't have to, but we're nice.
Yeah, we will. We'll be nice.
Series 4 of our Tea Break podcast has been trudging along quite slowly.
Yes.
Unfortunately, lots of things happening in the world, the real world, which has held us up a little bit in terms
of life
production. Yeah, it's that life thing getting in the way. We still have 3 episodes left to come in Series 4 of our Tea Break podcast. And they're quite nice ones because we've got a guest on each one of them.
Yes, we did briefly mention it a little while back, didn't we? There was a bit of a teaser put out of as to what's coming up.
Yeah. Let's just say it again. Let's just do
it.
We're going to be talking about D&D and tabletop gaming.
Dungeons and Dragons, indeed.
And the Star Trek version of it, I want to mention that as well.
Yes, we're going to play a Star Trek version, or attempt to play a Star Trek version at some point.
In fact, Dave, we have a game set up, don't we, in November? So that's going to
be so that's
we'll see
probably when it's going to happen.
Yeah. We're also going to be talking about Stargate Universe, which is fun.
Which is a big franchise, and I think sometimes you forget that it's spawned lots of things on from the '94 movie, so it's going to be interesting to get into that in a bit more detail.
I must admit, I'm not a big expert when it comes to Stargate at all. I've not seen much. But we
really.
do have an expert coming on who knows it all inside out, so that's
Thank God.
Great fun. And we're also going to be talking about conventions and cosplaying. Now, we've not been able to get to a lot as much as we'd like to this year.
No, it's been a bit quiet convention attendance-wise.
And as you know from our podcast series, we had a few issues with Destination Star Trek.
Yeah, so with a certain company holding money back.
Anyway, let's
not get into that again.
Let's not get into that again. We'll get really annoyed. So we've got those 3 coming up.
Yes.
As well as our Christmas special, as we mentioned.
Indeed.
That's great. Let's go back though, Dave, because what a year. Absolutely mad.
Let's retrospect.
We've had TV studios pull money from it, pull films. We've had them mess around with geeky things, bring things back.
Yes, indeed. I mean, with the whole thing, obviously we're not going to get into the cost of living crisis, but there's been a lot of kind of studios kind of pulling back on what they're spending the money on and getting value for money and making sure they're getting enough viewership and subscriptions paid for certain series and movies. So, it's been interesting.
Now, we've developed, we had a meeting earlier, a production meeting earlier about all things we're doing, and one of the things that came from this meeting, which I thought was really funny, was our new clairvoyant powers. And any of our regular listeners and viewers will know that we've come out with ideas over the last couple of years of things we'd like to see happen.
Yeah.
And we said, you know what they should do? What we should do right now, I'm not going to because it takes a lot of effort, but I should have pulled those clips and now play them.
Yes, as proof. Yeah.
If I've got time, I'll do it. And I'm going to play the clip now. Yeah, sorry Dave, I didn't get time.
Yeah. No, you didn't.
But we said, you know what they should do? Doctor Who's not gone quite as well.
No.
They should bring back Russell T Davies, bring back David Tennant.
Yeah, bring back an old companion.
They've done it, haven't they?
They've gone and done it, yeah. So I think a certain someone or somebody has been listening to Tea Break podcast and going, oh yeah, it's a good idea. Did we get the credit?
No,
we didn't, did we?
And also, Dave.
Yet another.
We said, what are DC doing? Get Henry Cavill back in the Superman suit and let's have a Superman film. Well, he's back in the Superman suit in the post-credit sequence for the brand new Black Adam.
Yeah, which we've yet to see.
We've yet to see, but apparently it's quite a cool little bit there. And he's going to. There's strong rumours now that he's going to be. It keeps saying confirmed Man of Steel 2.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens. But they're doing it, aren't they, Dave?
They're doing it. Yeah. We've talked about it numerous times, and I think it's kind of been a shame, as we've said, that we've had a good Superman there in Henry Cavill and no new Superman content, and we had a good Batman in Ben Affleck and kind of his solid Batman.
I liked Batfleck.
Yeah, it's controversial. A lot of people were about it, but yeah, we quite like Ben Affleck as Batman. And he didn't get the chance to flesh it out a bit more, which would have been nice. But Robert Pattinson was quite surprisingly good, wasn't he, in his first Batman film, and we've got the sequel to that coming up. Matt Reeves has confirmed there's going to be a sequel.
Yeah. So, just talking Superman for a minute.
Yeah.
So obviously Henry Cavill, wonderful back in the suit. That's going to be great. Can't wait to see what happens with that.
Yeah.
We've also got a TV show on at the minute.
Yes, we have.
So Superman and Lois, which we talked about this a little bit in a previous podcast.
Yes, we did. Good old Tyler Hoechlin, who we met at a convention a while back, didn't we?
Yeah.
Just before the series came out. So
I
that was
like him.
quite
Very nice guy.
Yeah.
And we've just gone through series 1 and 2. That's now out here in the UK.
Yes.
Series 3 is being filmed as we
lovely.
speak. So we've got a series 3, but we don't know much about it.
That's good.
That's really exciting. Not just because it's carrying on those DC shows. I mean, we've lost. Legends gone now. Legends has gone. Supergirl's gone. Arrow's gone.
Yes.
Flash is on the last series, I think now.
Yeah, I think that's about finishing, isn't it? Although I think I said to you a couple of series back, didn't I, that they were kind of repeating themselves a little bit on the Flash. As much as we love the Flash and Grant Gustin and the whole team and stuff, it did feel like they just were trying to find different ways to have members of the team kidnapped and for the Flash to lose his powers, and it got a bit samey. So I can understand why that's kind of wrapping up a bit now.
But like I say, Superman and Lois is there to fill that gap.
I enjoyed the first series, and I've just not long started season 2, and
I like series 2.
It's good.
I think there are certain parts of series 2 that I like better than series 1.
Yeah.
Bits of series 2 again a little bit fanciful for me, but hey, you're talking about aliens flying around with capes, so let's just get it into perspective.
Yeah.
I liked it. I thought it was very good. I think the writing's good. I think production value is fantastic.
Yeah, and it's no easy thing as well to bring Superman to TV and make it work. So I think I said to you before it came out, they've got to get the balance of kind of the Clark Kent, the work family life, and the Superman saving people kind of mix right. And I think they have, haven't they?
I think they're
just
doing
about.
Well,
They've done
yeah,
a good job with that, I think.
You've got to get the viewers in to start with, which they're doing.
Yeah.
But there's a whole universe there they can explore if this series really does go for it. It's commonly known that series 3 is the make or break one, really.
Yeah.
Series 1, you get your figures in, and it's like, if it does well, you think, okay, we'll give you a series 2. By then, you're starting to say, well, what happens if we get more?
Yeah.
So story-wise, you're building things up. When it gets to series 3, it's got to be good.
Yeah, it has to be there to hit the mark. And staying on DC, of course, I know you need to catch up with it a little bit, but we've got the new season of Titans coming out in the next week or two, I think it is, on HBO Max. And we've got I think I mentioned to you before, there's been some quite interesting and funny things going off with Superboy, with Connor Kent, and he's discovering his Superman side and his kind of Lex Luthor connections and that side as well, the kind of darker side. And it looks like they're going to properly flesh that out in the next series with Superboy and Lex Luthor facing off against each other, and I think that's going to be quite interesting and bring a different dynamic to the show, especially with no Batman now. Spoilers. Although Batman's not really played a big part in it because he's kind of been like the retired Batman and kind of quieting things down a little bit. But Ian Glenn did do a good job as Bruce Wayne, and I thought he did well. But yeah, season 4 should be interesting.
I'm going to enjoy it because I do like the Superman stuff, as you know.
Yeah. And Crypto the dog as well.
Yes.
Who's actually quite a good character. Could have been quite silly and a little bit lame, but actually quite good.
We are going to talk a little bit just about Quantum Leap for a second.
Yes.
So we also said, way back in series 1, was it?
Yeah,
we said reboots, what should they do? We said, wouldn't it be great if they did a Quantum Leap reboot? And we said, no. It can't be a reboot because you can't take away the original. Why don't they do a continuation where they go and try and find Sam? I think we said that. Guess what? Well, they've gone and done it.
They've gone and done it again, haven't they? Yeah.
They took our idea. I'm just looking
at listening. Put that in motion.
No, they didn't give us any credit, Dave.
No, they would. And you watched the first pilot episode last night, actually, didn't you? I'm up to date with it, but Mr. P was introduced to it for the first time last night.
I liked it. I have to say, I did enjoy it. I know that there's been a little bit of hoo-ha on the internet, being as Scott Bakula has no involvement whatsoever. I know as soon as it was announced, fans were all like, "Come on, Scott Bakula's got to be involved. Is he going to be involved?" And there was so much stuff there that he actually put a statement out to say, "Look, sorry, look, I'm not involved. I offered to do everything, but they said no, they didn't want me to be
going in this direction."
Yeah. So, but then they've got his face on it. They reference him and Al. It's a continuation. Yeah. How can you not have him involved at some point down the line?
I think we said this yesterday. At some point, Series 2, Series 3, they've kind of got to bring him in at some point.
My prediction, here we go. My prediction was that I said that you could potentially go to a leap where he's already leaped in as someone else.
Yeah.
Therefore, it's the character but not the actor.
So you don't know that it's him.
That's what I suggested they could do. But I don't know.
Yeah, but I think that the good thing is that they, like you talked about, either people being a bit annoyed and all the comments online, that has kind of quietened down since the series has begun, and I think that's kind of a good sign to say that they're actually doing an alright job with it.
And nice to see Ernie Hudson on screen again.
Yes, another one who we've met who was a very nice guy as well.
Yeah.
Former Ghostbuster.
Yeah, Winston Zeddemore.
Winston Zeddemore.
So that's come out. That's brilliant. Lots of things has happened. Now we're going to very quickly talk about this, but not in great detail. Ring of Power.
Yes, and mainly because again you've not started it.
I've not started it, but they put like a shed load of money into this.
A lot of money, yeah.
Was it $1 billion or something?
I think they paid a lot of money for the rights initially, and then I think the episodes have kind of been made out that they paid more than they have, from what I've heard recently. But it does look very nice. You can tell that they've spent the money on it. And again, there's been fans up in the air about some of the canonical things to do with it, certain things not being quite canon, things that Tolkien's not written or wouldn't have written necessarily, but it kind of does say at the start, as a disclaimer at the start of the show, it's kind of based on the works of J.R.R. Tolkien, because obviously the source material they're going from is very scant. There's little bits from like Lost Tales and Silmarillion, and as with any television series or movie, there's a bit of filler in there as well that's like got no basis in the whole world from what Tolkien originally wrote. So you can understand that, but at the same time they've got to make a TV show, they've got a certain running time, certain actors, certain things they can and can't do, and they've got to make a story work.
Yeah.
And make sense.
And production-wise, of course, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, of course, yeah. It's very cinematic. And I think they've kind of captured the heart of the films of the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit as well, which has been good. There's a lot of things that are very good with it, so I would say for people still to watch it and not be put off and then judge it when they've watched it. And they have said just in the last few days that season 2 is going to be a lot more in line with existing material. So to be less filler second season, and you're kind of going to get the kind of story about Sauron and the rings that kind of people have been clamouring for, so that's going to be good.
Excellent. We'll look forward to that. So I need to catch up with series 1 first. Let's just talk about Doctor Who. Doctor Who. We mentioned earlier, obviously, that they got Russell T Davies back, or RTD, back for the 60th and the next series going forwards. I think that was a good decision. We're not saying... We're going to be very diplomatic, I think.
We've got to be.
Jodie Whittaker's tenure as the Doctor was a good one. It was fun. It was Doctor Who. It was good to watch.
I think there's one word that you would say about Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall's tenure on the show. It's probably been divisive, I'd probably say. And there's been other doctors that have been divisive as well. I mean, Peter Capaldi, a lot of people were not very happy when Peter Capaldi was announced as the Doctor, and he's too old, he's not cool enough, he's not on trend, whatever. We thought he was very good, very good Doctor, and he was a fan of the show for many years, and you could tell with how he performed, how he portrayed the Doctor. So it's not new. There's been a lot of things that have been divisive. John Nathan Turner, Colin Baker. The fans have been up in arms about all sorts of things with Doctor Who over the years. So it's not new. It's not Jodie. It can happen with anybody. It's not gender.
They dropped into an era of time where there was a lot of political correctness.
Yes.
And a lot of political agendas happening.
Yeah.
And I think that did play a part. You can't say it didn't.
There's the whole thing, wasn't there, of like people saying, it's just ticking a box, and it's not the best person for the role, and they're just trying to please certain people.
The only issue I really had with it, I could put it with everything else. It was just that when they wrote the Doctor, I just don't think they wrote her strong enough to start with. That was my only little issue.
No.
That's just my personal opinion. It got better as the time's gone on, and her portrayal of the Doctor's got a lot better. You want the Doctor to walk into a room, be silly and playful, but then you want that moment where, oh my goodness, they're hanging now, what's going to happen?
The kind of speech and the kind of anger that you saw with David Tennant and Peter Capaldi and even Matt Smith to an extent.
And that didn't happen.
Yeah.
At least not for me to start with. She got better at it, and as I said, got better at it. She weren't bad, but it was wrote better.
I think so.
Yeah, I've got high hopes for this last episode. Which we're filming this just before that comes out. That's coming out
tomorrow, in fact.
Tomorrow here in the UK, and that's Are we going to get the new Doctor now, or is it going to be David Tennant? We know David Tennant's in the 60th. Along with Catherine Tate. So we're assuming that it's going to be a regeneration into David Tennant.
Yeah, we don't quite know how that's going to work, whether it's going to be a Jodie into Ncuti, then into David Tennant, or whether it's going to be a Jodie into David Tennant and then into Ncuti. We're not quite sure how it's going to work. My probably gut thought is it's probably going to end with David Tennant, and then we start off with David Tennant in the 60th and getting back with Catherine Tate and obviously the late Bernard Cribbins. So I think that's the way it may go. But I think there's one thing that we mentioned over the Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall tenure is that the writing's not always been quite on point, has it? And sometimes there's been like a big ambitious story and it's not quite hit its marks. It's not quite been dealt with in the right way. So I think that's something that's affected this tenure as well. And like you say, not all the time. We've had some good moments, some highlights, some good stories that have made a positive impact, raising awareness on certain things, which Chris Chibnall's been big with as well in his tenure. But I think one of the big standout things for me has been Sacha Dhawan as the Master. I think he's been very good.
Yeah.
I think that was a great choice.
He plays it, and now, I mean, he's in tomorrow's episode, last episode.
Yeah.
When he comes on the screen, you're thinking, oh crap, what's he going to do now? Because they've really twisted him into, he just completely twisted an evil, which I think is lovely for him to play. And before, when you had the Master, it was always a little bit more nice.
Yeah, it's probably
this time it's like, no, genocide, I'll do it. No, murder,
I mean, he's probably
tried to kill the Doctor.
Yeah, probably one of the most sort of maniacal, evil, crazy Masters we've had, I think.
Yeah.
And Johnson was quite a way down that line, but I still think that Sacha Dhawan's Master, you kind of feel would take that extra step, would go that too far over the line and do something completely ridiculous. And I think, like you say, that goes back to you don't know what he's going to do. Yeah. And he is probably quite a terrifying iteration of that character because he's so unpredictable.
Moving forward into RTD, we do have the 60th coming up.
We do.
And obviously, RTD, Russell T Davies, has brought back a lot of the original team that he worked with originally.
Phil Collins and Julie Gardner.
What's exciting for the 60th is he's brought Murray Gold back to do the music.
Yes.
Now, it's not been confirmed that Murray Gold's going to be doing the next series, but
No, but he's definitely doing the 60th.
we all don't hope. Because the BBC used to have BBC proms, and they would do a Doctor Who one, and the music was so amazing, and just lately that's dropped off. You don't watch an episode of Doctor Who and get that emotion isn't built from the music, and I think because of that it's lost something. I think Jodie Whittaker's series would have been better had the music had been better. And I'm not trashing the music for the show. I'm just saying when you've had something before that was at that level.
Yeah. You've set a high bar, haven't you?
Yeah.
And everything that follows is difficult.
So that's going to be good.
So yeah, I think that's going to be really good. And I think the other thing, just to finish up on Doctor Who, that I think is going to be really good, is that Russell T Davies has said that he kind of wants to follow the kind of Marvel DC kind of structure where you have this shared universe, where you have these spin-offs. Obviously, he did it a little bit back in the day with Torchwood and Sarah Jane Adventures, which are both very good.
They did try it with Class.
They did, which again was that word divisive. Some people liked it, some people absolutely hated it, and it only had the one season.
Does this mean, Dave, that we're going to get into some more Torchwood?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. I think there'll be some sort of Torchwood series, whether it's John Barrowman, whether it's Eve Miles, whether it's a completely new team. We'll have to see, but I wouldn't be surprised if they don't bring that organisation back. And I did hear a rumour, unconfirmed, the other day that they might be doing a unit series.
They've talked about that for quite a long time. Well, even back in the day, didn't they?
Kate Stewart. So that would be interesting if they do a unit series. That could work quite well, potentially.
There was going to be a Rose Tyler Earth Defence series.
Which they've kind of done, haven't they, with Big Finish? They've kind of bought Billy Piper and Kemal Kodori back to do that. I think the latest one they've done is the second part of the Dimension canon story. So what Russell T Davies was going to do with that, the Big Finish have kind of picked up that mantle in the meantime and done a bit of that. But it's not to say that we won't have a televised version of something like that in the future.
No.
And as we've said, I mean, it might even happen, we'll see if we get the credit, but we might have an 8th Doctor Paul McGann spin-off series, which has been muted for a long time, and he said if he's asked and the script's good, he'll do it. So that'd be nice to see.
Yeah, it would actually. Well, to be fair, we are running out of time now, Dave.
We are.
And there's still so much stuff we've not really had a chance to talk about, but we do have 3 more specials of podcasts. We've got a Christmas special to wrap everything up from this year where we can pick that up. But what are you looking forward to most next year? I know we're going to talk about this more at Christmas, but just as a quick teaser.
In terms of TV shows or in terms of what we're doing, or
TV and film, what we think?
TV and film. Ooh, well, I think we've got the second series of Good Omens next year, Neil Gaiman, which will be good.
That's going to be absolutely fantastic.
We really enjoyed the first series, so that'll be good. We've got, I think I was going to mention as well, I don't know if it's coming out next year or it's being filmed next year, but Keanu Reeves is reprising his role as John Constantine.
To my knowledge, it's not been filmed yet.
Yeah, I know it's not been filmed yet, and they may be starting next year.
If they film, it's going to be way end of next year, I would have thought.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting to see, especially when we've had Matt Ryan, who's played the character really well, and then we had obviously a female Constantine in Neil Gaiman's Sandman, which was another good series that came out on Netflix this year. Obviously, based on the books of the same name. So that's going to be interesting to see. See if what they do with the second season of Sandman and carry on the Constantine character there as well. And then obviously we've got not another one I've told you to watch, but you've not watched yet, The Boys, which is like the anti-hero, superhero show.
I keep seeing this, and it's time to fit it all in.
Yeah,
you know?
That's the thing.
But
they've recorded season 4, so we've got that coming out next year. Hopefully we want to hear some news about a new Bond movie in some kind of planning stage.
There was a rumour the other day of someone else being potentially the next Bond. It was someone they hadn't really pitched before.
Yeah.
When I glanced at it, I forget who it was, but it looked all right. But again, nobody knows till they release it really what's going to happen.
Right.
So.
And of course, we want to see a bit more with what's going on with DC next year. I mean, we want to see if we do get a Man of Steel 2 confirmed for sure.
I saw a report saying it was confirmed. Whether that's true or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
He's certainly back, and the producers have certainly said he is Superman, and it sets things up for the future.
Yeah.
So I think we can take that as there's going to be more Henry Cavill Superman.
Yeah, and what they do with Batman as well. I mean, they've already said that Robert Pattinson's Batman isn't going to join the full sort of DCEU. So are we going to have another Batman to replace Ben Affleck? That's going to be in that
Michael
universe.
Keaton's Batman in
The Flash.
which we're really looking forward to because we get Supergirl.
Yeah, we're just hoping that carries on, doesn't get canned like the old Batgirl, Batwoman.
Why did they just not? They've got to this point. Just finish it, put it on stream, and let people make their own minds.
It'd have been fine, wasn't it? I think it was a shame, and I think we said when it happened, when obviously they had the Batwoman series with Ruby Rose, Kate Kane. I think that was reasonably good. I quite enjoyed that. It's a shame that all fell apart, and they've tried to recast a couple of times, and then they're doing the film, and then that's been pulled. So quite where they're going with Batwoman now, we don't know whether it's bound to appear somewhere else, in another movie, in another show. That character were there. Obviously, there's a Supergirl movie which has been muted as well.
It has at the moment, but we'll see what the reception's like of the character in the Flash.
Yeah.
If we get Henry Cavill back, maybe there could be a crossover there somewhere.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
And then, of course, what happens next year with obviously the DC series is obviously with Marvel as well. The next phase of Marvel, we've got new films, new TV series is coming out.
We've certainly got a lot more to talk about, which is probably a good job. We're in planning for Series 5 of our Tea Break podcast.
Yeah, and Star Wars as well, of course. There's plenty of Star Wars out and on the way as well.
Yeah.
So
lots to talk about.
Lots to talk about.
At the end of the year on our Christmas roundup, and of course into Series 5 next year. Just a quick one before we go. We did an interview not so long back with Patrick Creeps from Star Trek
and Aaron Waltke, from Star Trek
Prodigy. And they did point out at the time that another lot of 10 episodes will be coming later toward the end of this year.
Yes.
That has now been announced. They are coming out. Is it next month?
I think it's this month.
Month.
The end of this month.
The end of this
26th of October.
So that's the next bit of prodigy. If you're a fan of that, we loved it. I loved the series. It was so fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you can get that on obviously Paramount Plus, on Sky as well.
Maybe Nickelodeon.
I think it might be on Nickelodeon as well.
We don't know. But either way, it's definitely on Paramount.
We enjoyed the first set of episodes. We'll stick with that.
So they're coming out. Just a quick nod for that.
And of course, while we're on Star Trek, Season 3 of Picard as well.
Oh, the old TNG cast are back.
It's been massively teased, hasn't it?
We're not going to say anything about it. I don't want to spoil it for anyone that's not seen it yet. So let's not
good.
Say anything more about that at the moment. Lots to talk about later on.
Indeed.
And of course, you can go back and look at the podcasts we've just talked about and our interviews from earlier this year through the links on our website at geekyguys.co.uk.
Yeah, Podomatic, Apple Podcasts, the YouTube channel for Geeky Guys. It's all there.
It's all there. All the links are on the website.
Yes, they are.
Keep checking social media for our updates on our next 3 podcasts for the end of Series 4. And look out for our Christmas special coming. It'll be coming out on Christmas Day.
Yes, Christmas Day again, the OGG Christmas special coming out. You're replacing the Doctor Who Christmas special, as every year. That's going to be good.
It's all all that remains is for us to say thank you for staying with us, supporting us, and watching our content and listening to us ramble on about geeky things.
If indeed you still are.
If indeed you still are. And if you're not, well, there's no point in saying it because you're not listening to it. We've got big plans for next year.
We have.
Lots of new exciting things coming, so that's going to be, I'm quite excited. Actually.
Yeah, there's a lot of big changes for next year and Series 5 and changing it all up a little bit.
Yes, we might actually get outside of Geeky Guy HQ a little bit.
Yeah, we might. That's certainly one of the things.
So yes, thank you so much for watching. We will catch up with you with our next little bit, like I said, and and the Christmas special.
Catch you on the flip side.
Catch you later, guys. Thank you.